Hey.
We're on?
Yep. We should be
Good.
on.
Good evening, everyone. Calling the February 9th KSBC meeting to order. And we'll do a roll call vote. Pat, are you there?
Don't see him on Zoom, Carla.
Yep, thanks, Sean. Sean is here.
Here. Yep.
John,
Yes.
Chris,
Here.
Kirk,
Yes.
Ed.
Here.
Greg.
Here.
Nancy here, and Carla is here. Thank you, everyone. Quick review of the agenda. We will entertain public comment, liaison reports, talk about the 90% MSBA design submission. We'll speak about proprietary items, and then we'll go into financial reviews of invoices, of commitments, and then into the schedule review, upcoming events, pre-qual update, approval of prior meeting minutes, and future agenda items and next meeting dates, and then we'll adjourn. So we have nobody in this room for public comment. It doesn't look like we have anybody online either for public comment. Nope. Okay, so we'll go on to, anybody have a liaison report? I will talk about the furniture sit test, which is sample furniture test that the furniture vendor and all the vendors will bring in, where they're going to be moving a ton of equipment, chairs and desks and things like that into the gymnasium at Killam on February 11th, this Wednesday, for about an hour or so for Rise, and then on the 12th for the most of the day for all the teachers to be able to come in and check out all the different types of furniture. It's a fascinating process. We're not concerned about colors. We're just concerned about functionality and which types of chairs and desks and dividers and things like that we're interested in. So that will happen. We'll have a good idea of what our furniture will look like, and then we'll go on to the next. How do we make sure everything kind of color coordinates and matches up and things like that. Anybody else have any updates?
We need it for here. How do we do that?
Second from the road.
RCTV, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then, okay, so we'll move on to 90% submissions.
So I don't know if you want to talk about it, but we're going to be basically submitting the 90% drawing package to the MSBA, and it was a pretty big package. I'd say it's a good size volume document. We've had our estimates. I'm trying to pull up my information to share on the screen, but I've got a struggle with my I can't connect to the meeting to share the documents right now. To share the estimates, I don't have the numbers on the top of my head. Give me 1 second.
Do you want to, are you online?
So I am online,
Okay.
but I can't join the meeting.
Yeah, Leo was actually saying he can't join the meeting either.
We have a problem.
They
with
just
that.
updated Zoom today, and I had to update my Zoom, and it was a little tricky to get in. Justin, is that something you want me to share, maybe?
Yeah, he could, Mike, because see how it's not, it won't automatically bring the Zoom meeting up. It just brings me to the Zoom thing. And I don't have to sign it. I never had to sign it.
You shouldn't have to.
Click just join meeting there. And then you can, if you click join meeting, then you're gonna have to paste in the meeting ID and then paste in the meeting password, and you should be able to get in.
So
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
if I do this, if I go to the link.
Yeah.
Click the link.
Are you on, is that the agenda?
This is the e-bike.
No, go to the agenda, go to the packet. And the first page of the packet.
Oh, he puts a link on that?
Yep.
I didn't
Right.
know he did that. Yeah. Secrets.
Mike, do you want to share with us?
Could you bring up the estimate just to show the,
I just sent a link as well, just so you all are aware, but
Thank you.
apologies for the Zoom issues.
No, it worked for me. Do you want to do from here?
I'm looking in the folder for the meeting, Justin, I don't see the estimates in there, but maybe.
Okay. Can we come back to, well, let's start on the finances, we'll come back to 90% submission, because I do want to talk about the estimates, where the estimates came in great, they're reconciled, we're at 90, I think it's 91 million, not including the two, ad alternates for offsite work.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up in the email. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna take. Where was our budget? Are you able to see that on the screen?
Perfect.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we're at 91 million right now. The reconciled budget is $91,203,873. I think we are still going to carry the 101, the box to the left that Mike's got highlighted on the left, 101,521,394 million for the MSBA, as far as our value that we're carrying for construction. You never know where you're going to get until the bids come in. And then our ad alternate is that box that Mike has highlighted on the lower right for $1,493,328. So if you combine those numbers, that would be, if you included to accept all of the ad alternates and our total, that would be our working construction budget as of now for 90% documents.
That, the ad alternates, aren't they like 1.6 million and 1.1 million? So that's not the total, 1.4.
Yeah, so the ad alternates went down compared to the 60% estimate
Okay.
because we readjusted how much of that work is in the base contract.
Okay.
Because when we took a closer look at it, once you build a sidewalk, you have to build an ADA ramp. If you build one ADA ramp, you have to build the next ADA ramp. So it's like, it was just kind of like pulling the thread, and then we ended up having to include a little bit more
Okay.
work in the base bid. So you're right, Caroline, 60%, those values were higher for alternates.
So,
I think
So
that's
the-
the ones right here that you were looking at.
so is the new number for alternate one, the offsite work on Charles Street, is our new number 743,978,
744, 721 for Charles Street, and $762,193 for the April Street. Offsite work.
Okay, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we cut that. Wow.
So the total, if you were to include both of those, along
what?
with the 91, is just under 92.7.
Okay, because I thought it was, all right, I expected more like almost 3 million, and it's 1.5, which is even better. Super. All right, keep pulling those strings. Yeah, that's excellent.
That actually includes a $13,000 reduction in the PVs, which I don't think we're recommending at this point.
The reduction in the what?
Photovoltaics on the roof, you can see this
Yeah,
alternate
yeah,
for the
yeah.
13,000.
Yeah.
So in actuality, it's not 1,493, it's 1,506 if I add that 13 grand back in.
Okay. Okay, super.
But if it's, does Mike have the packet?
He does have the packet, yeah.
It's in the packet.
All right, so let me pull up the packet next here. Sorry, I'm just gonna slide this over.
So the next item on the agenda, Mike, we wanted to go into the proprietary items, if you could pull that up.
Sure, give me one
So,
second, just open up.
Let's vote on the 90%. Do you want to right? We're gonna vote on the 90%
Yeah,
submission?
we can do that, absolutely.
Let's, you ready to do that now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. No introduction, we're just gonna vote on it? We're good. Anything? I
Yeah,
feel
we
like we need some
submitted-
like ceremony.
We submitted the 90% documents for committee's review. The drawings are getting, it's a big package, so it's been reviewed by, it's being reviewed by the MSBA, it's been reviewed by the OPM, it's been reviewed by the commissioning agent, lots of eyes on it. But the vote here is to approve that 90% submission and to send it to the MSBA.
Which will happen tomorrow, our due date is tomorrow.
What's the status on the peer reviews?
So that is, we're gonna be voting on to accept, who's gonna be doing those reviews.
Okay,
And then as soon as we, accept that, they'll be on it tomorrow.
Move to accept the 90% submission to the MSBA.
Second,
Seconded, Ed beat you to it, John. Any discussion? Okay, going to the vote. Sean,
yes.
John,
yes,
Chris,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Ed,
yes,
Greg,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
and Carla's a yes. Thank you, everyone.
Very
That's
exciting.
That's awesome.
Probably should have said this before the vote, but I don't think it's going to affect the vote at all. But just so everybody knows, we've done this in the last couple of versions of this, or the last couple rounds. We do have a value engineering list that we will be submitting it to the MSBA. I think most of it we didn't actually put values to because we're so far below the budget right now. But we do always have that list as a backup if and when the need arises. So it's something that we always have as a belt and suspenders. But I feel pretty good that with the current budget 101 and us being at 92.7 that we're gonna, we're trending in the right direction. Let me leave it that way. So just want to make sure everybody knows that that's gonna be part of the package, that value engineering log.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Okay. Proprietary items.
I can introduce this. So the design team is proposing 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 different proprietary items. So these are components of the building or building systems that the facilities team and or the IT team at the district have requested that we specify these as proprietary. Typically, Massachusetts open bid law requires that we specify everything as an open bid. So we have a basis of design product, we give 3 equals, and then the contractor can even propose some different system as long as it meets the specification of what we outlined. In the situation of these 6 proprietary items, we're going to be specifying these as proprietary, meaning they have to provide exactly this system by this manufacturer. For all of these items, and to meet Massachusetts public bid law, we have to give a justification for why these systems being specified as proprietary is in the public interest. And we've done that in this narrative that we shared with you. And then we need a vote of this committee to approve and recommend these items be specified as proprietary. In general, all of these items are proprietary because of interoperability with existing systems in the town. So I'll just go through them at a very high level really quickly. So we have on the security system side, we have access control. That's the system like card readers that control access to the building, CCTV and video surveillance, and duress alert, which is like a panic button. These systems will all tie into existing systems that are in the town, so they need to be by the same manufacturer. The PA system, building management system, and building management system, same issue, they need to be able to communicate with existing systems in town. And the door hardware, just the cores that control the keying, which are like removable little components that allow you to set the keying for each door. The cores need to be the same type that you use in the district. For compatibility with existing hardware and the master keying system. So those are the ones that we are requesting KSBC to vote to allow us to specify as proprietary.
Do we do them all together or do we have to do them separately?
Altogether.
What is the total value of these items?
I don't have the total value.
Any
I
all-time
would have to
figure?
do some investigation to give you the value.
And Jenny, I think what we would be voting on is, this would go on to town letterhead, right, or district letterhead? And it would be submitted to the MSBA?
Yeah, after this vote, then we'll need a letter from the facilities department, which I'll follow up with Joe and Jane about, attesting that this body held the vote and that it's recommended that these 6 systems are specified as proprietary, and that's the letter that we'll submit to the MSBA along with the record of the vote.
Yeah, move to accept the proprietary systems for Genetec, Valcom, Honeywell, and Coors as written by LBA.
Second,
Any further discussion?
I would just say, if you can, maybe that last one, instead of cores, the last one would be Schlage.
Schlage, sorry, Coors, Schlage, Primus, Everest.
Yes.
second amendment.
Seconded by Ed, as amended. Any discussion?
I just had, sorry, Carla, I just had one quick question. Does any of the existing Killam licensing transfer over to the new building? Like anything that we had previously subscribed in for 3 years or 5 years? Is any of it carrying over?
So one thing I would say, Chris, for example, if I can go up to the video cameras, for example, typically what we see districts doing, if you have somewhat newer cameras, maybe there's several that have been updated or whatever, those typically get taken down, returned to the owner, and the owner would distribute them somewhere else in the district, not necessarily for the new building.
Yeah, no, what I'm thinking is that obviously if you had a server at existing Killam, it's probably not going to be sufficient enough for the new one because it's going to be twice as many cameras, access control, all of that. It's more of the licensing associated with it. Like if you bought a 30-year support, 30 license pack for 3 years, those cameras, regardless of which ones they are, it's going to carry over with that, which will bring the overall total, down. It's not super expensive, that we're making waves here, but it's something as opposed to nothing.
I suppose that's a question for your tech director who's been in on all the meetings. He probably sets all those up and would know those, right, Jenny?
Yeah, Julian.
Julian, yeah. He just knows all that stuff. So we can ask for a thought about that, if that's helpful. Or you can ask him yourself, but we can ask.
Yeah, I guess if you guys wanted to. I only know from my own experience that, when I do camera licensing, if I did a housing authority and we do like 30 cameras and, they want to add 6 more on, they're like the licenses that we already had for their cameras are going to be good for whatever we do going forward. It doesn't matter if they subtract them out and put different ones on, it's carrying over. So now this is a newer building. So obviously it's going to be twice the amount of cameras, but I'm just wondering, like, if we had to have been locked into long-term licensing before, that's why the pricing was always so high. So it's either 1, 3, or 5-year licensing, and you pay less when it's 5 years. I just don't want to see that get eliminated. And it can transfer over, maybe, like you said, in other areas of the district. Maybe they can put cameras at Birch now, depending on if they're newer. Otherwise, if they're 5-year-old cameras, they're getting tossed. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
So it would depend on what the licensing agreement that we have says.
Yeah,
right?
I only only brought that up because I know when we went over the licensing, it was some outrageous price that I said, I can't believe we're spending this. And it's always take it offline. You can't know, the public can't know what we're talking about in terms of building security. And I understand that, but like licensing is a massive impact to this budget going forward because we're going to be paying for it year over year over year. So whatever it was before, it's now going to be doubled. And if we can at least save some of this, you know what I mean? If anything is carrying over, because I know with me, it would be some of it, not all of it.
Yeah.
So it's just something to keep in mind.
We can definitely look at that, and I would think, like Lee mentioned earlier, with the IT director, he would know what you have there. The other thing to keep in mind is oftentimes when, like, you have a regular maintenance program, we're replacing cameras every 3 years or whatever. Oftentimes, once the building is, into the construction design, some of that maintenance gets put on hold. So even if we're at 5 years, by the time the project was started and then by the time the building's open, it might actually be pretty close to that 5 year window, if you will, from, if you think from when the design team first got on to when construction's going in. But we can definitely follow up on that.
Yeah, and it's partially my fault because, I should have been in a couple of these meetings as well, but, things happen. And
No, we're all doing what we can. I appreciate that.
all right, I'm all set, Carla. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Any further discussion? Okay, let's go to we have a second on this, so we'll go to the vote. Sean,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And Carla, yes, and that passes. Thank you. Okay. Financial review.
Mike, do you want to bring up the budget cost summary? Perfect, thank you. All right, so you'll see we have the $101,521,394 for our construction budget. That'll stay at that value until we receive our project bid amendment after we receive our bids. Right now we have for architectural engineering total expenditures to date of $4,976,078, with a balance of $5,918,922 for administrative costs. We have spent a date of $2,268,998, and then with a balance of $6,177,357. We haven't bought any FF&E items, so we still have a subtotal value for both equipment and technology. Furniture and technology at $3,175,000. So that brings our total project budget, including all the contingencies, to the $122,767,407. We have a few commitments. One is the first one we have on the list is the Daily Times Chronicle. That is the advertisements that we have been submitting for the different RFPs that we issued, as well as the RFQ that we just recently issued. That value is for $1,372, which is will make up several advertisements. The next three are from the RFPs that we issued, and we are recommending approval of the proposals that we received. So the first one is the peer review recommendation of the company called Four Leaf. They will do our third-party code review, our steel peer review, and the various access code systems review. I'll go through these, and if you guys, we can vote on the individual ones after. So the next one is the switchgear package, the early switchgear proposals that we received. Systems contracting, looks like I cut off there, but the company that provided the best price was called System Contracting, and that was for $147,800. And then we have materials testing. And the company that we're recommending for approval is called UTS. How we issued pricing on all the different testing that you do in construction, we provided a quantity of all these tests that we would want priced. And so they provided unit pricing and then an overall total. So we were compare, their apples to apples comparison throughout the three firms that provided pricing. And UTS came in with the best pricing. So those are the three firms we're recommending for proposal approval, as well as the advertisement budget.
Justin, if I can, just on the material testing specifically, you just mentioned a minute ago that it is done on unit prices. So we kind of give them a menu of various tests with various quantities, based off of kind of a best guess, but also to try and get a apples to apples comparison amongst bidders. But oftentimes we do see, as the project progresses, depending on how concrete pours are done and stuff like that, sometimes you need more tests of one type or less of another, or things of that nature. So even though we have that built up based off very specific quantities of each test, I just want to make sure everybody understands that we actually do it off of the quantities that we actually have out there. And oftentimes we may even come back to at some point in the future to say we need to put a little bit more money there. And if I go back to that line just for a minute in the overall budget, we're committing right now that 54,000. We're recommending to commit that 54,000, but our total budget is actually 400,000 for that item. I feel pretty comfortable saying I don't think we're going to ever hit the 400, but if that 50 gets more towards 100 by the end of the project, I wouldn't be surprised. Just want to, again, just be open and transparent to everybody.
Any questions? If we have four move on to vote.
I have some questions about their proposal, but maybe we'll come to that when appropriate. Not about the price, but about some of the items in their proposal.
In the testing, construction
Yes.
materials testing?
Want to do it now or later?
Sure.
Okay, it's on the go down to the UTS proposal, which is on page 7, I think, of their proposal. Page 8.
I would assume you're doing rebar testing as well as masonry, not just concrete.
That's correct.
There also will be probably roof inspections. This is all going to be inclusive for UTS?
That's correct. So I don't know if we have the summary in this package here or not.
I only put the pricing in because I know that certain information shouldn't be shared with the public as far as their like tax ID. So I simply just cut off the pricing when I promote in this package.
So mechanical analysis is, so for soils, we have sieve analysis, proctors, mechanical analysis, engineering as needed. When we get into concrete, we have field inspection, cylinder testing, concrete specialists, F number testing for the flatness and the levelness of the concrete.
Yeah.
Masonry, mortar cubes, grout prism blocks, structural steel, reinforcing steel, light gauge metal framing review, fabrication installation, erection, shear stud connections, ultrasonic testing, magnetic particle density testing, specialty inspections from CWI inspectors, AVB, fireproofing, waterproofing, fire stopping, bituminous concrete, window testing. So we do try to hit the variety. Oftentimes, if there's a specific test that comes up that somebody's looking for, they can often cover that as well. But we try to hit a majority of the typical tests you see out there.
Foam insulations and all that as well, right?
Yeah.
John, what was your question? Sorry.
I think they're still talking.
You were first.
Okay, well, I have 2 items here which are on page 7, I think, of the UTS proposal. No, page 8, that's correct. Page 8.
Page 8.
Page 8, item J. Client agrees to not hire UTS personnel for at least 1 year after completion of this contract. This is a non-compete clause which the courts have not looked very kindly on recently as being enforceable. And this one seems to be particularly onerous.
So John, they may have put that in the proposal, but that wasn't in our RFP and that won't be in the contract.
Say that again, Mike.
When we put out the RFP, we didn't have that as a requirement in the RFP. So even though they put that in the proposal, when we put it in the contract, we're not going to have that as a part of the contract.
So you're going to strike item J?
Correct.
Thank you.
In reality, we don't include the whole proposal. We just include, basically, we include the values that they provided within the contract that we provided in the RFQ. Or the RFP, sorry.
But this is a proposal which includes item J, right? And if you accept the proposal, you accept
Again,
item
we're
J.
not accepting the proposal, we're accepting the values in accordance with the contract that we submitted with the RFQ. You're absolutely right, they shouldn't have that in there, and that's not going to be accepted.
Okay, go down to item O, same page, which is a hold harmless paragraph, which says basically if UTS does anything wrong, it's the town's fault, to put it in plain terms, which is, again, is it's a paragraph which is totally one-sided, doesn't deserve to be in the contract. Town doesn't deserve to enter a contract with a UTS with that clause in it. So is that going to be struck?
Yes.
As Mike was saying, the contract that we submitted with the actual RFP is the contract that they're gonna agree to. This is simply for pricing and total cost approval.
Okay, I take your word for it.
We can certainly get that confirmation. We can have them update the proposal to be inconsistent with that.
All right, I have no further comments on UTS proposal, except I agree with you, Mike, this price is too low.
Yeah, like I said,
it's gonna be
we have a
more.
budget of 400 grand. I don't think we'll spend the 400, but the
No.
pricing was to try and get apples to apples on everybody.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
You good?
Okay, that's easy. It's never been easier than that before.
I like it easy.
He's still depressed from the game last
What's
night.
that?
He's still depressed from the game.
The game.
Yeah.
No, Arsenal won, didn't they?
Arsenal. Not that game.
Okay,
Okay, so you need a motion for each of these? Is that how you want to do that? Do you need a motion?
To approve
Approve.
these, yep.
to approve the commitments.
Yeah, do we need one for each one or?
I would suggest one for each one because they are kind of unique. So I think the first one is just, those are Daily Time Chronicle advertisements that we had to do. So I think that's just approval of the overall value. I think on the other three, it would be accepting the OPM's recommendation of 4-leaf to do the peer review of systems, to do the switchgear, and then UTS to, you know, I think it would be 3 separate or 4 separate because they are kind of unique here.
Okay. Move to accept the commitment for Daily Times Chronicle at $1,372.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Any discussion? Going to the vote. Sean?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And Carla, yes. That passes.
Move to accept the OPM's recommendation for 4-leaf contract to do the peer review. Yeah, peer review, period.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Any discussion?
What is this company? All
4-leaf.
4-leaf. They did a big project they did was Encore at the casino. Not impressed.
No. The building is the wrong color, but that's okay. It's a desert color. It's not Massachusetts gray.
Yeah,
Not impressed.
You haven't been inside.
They didn't design it.
Huh?
Right, they weren't approving aesthetics.
Well, they should have changed the color, but Massachusetts gray is Arizona red, tan, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
awful, but it's okay. No.
All right, we'll go to the vote. Sean?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
yes.
And Carla, yes. That passes. Thank you.
All right, move to accept the OPM's recommendation for systems to do the early package.
Systems contracting, sorry.
Systems contract,
It got cut off.
systems contract to do the early package.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Sean?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. Thank you.
Finally, move to accept the OPM's recommendation for UTS contract to do the materials testing.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Any discussion? Going to the vote. Sean?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. Allison? Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
All right, so if we move through the cost summary, you see the project budget adjustments. There's no adjustments. All the commitments you approved had budget line items for the items approved. For project invoices, we have Bid Docs, which is our online bid hosting platform. And we have Bid Docs is for $350. LBA's invoice for December services, which totals to $505,083.50.
Million?
Not that.
$505,000.
What's going on?
I tried. $505,083.50. Sorry. And then we have our Daily Times Chronicle, which is the advertisements that we place for the RFPs and for the RFQ recently, which that is a total of $1,372.
Motion, okay. We'll do each of these. Move to accept the invoices for Bid Docs at $350. Invoice number 25-9KRD-1.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Any discussion? John?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Kirk? Chris?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And Carla? Yes.
Move to accept the invoice from LBA, invoice number 23076 for $505,083.50.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Any discussion? Sean?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Carla? Yes.
Move to accept the invoice from the Daily Times, did I say Daily Times Chronicle already? No, Daily Times Chronicle. Various invoices. Do you want me to read the numbers? I should. 251245, number 251246, number 251247, number 251305, and number 260087 for a total of $1,372.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Any discussion? Sean?
Good job.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And Carla? Yes.
All right, so our next page on this summary, we have the forecasted cost. This is the items listed here are the parking at the church for teachers and construction workers, as well as the cost for the Reading clerk salary and for the potential cost that we'll have with a tax consultant. I can provide an update for the tax consultant. I've received some availability for them to meet with us and discuss exactly what they're going to do for us for next week. So I'll circulate that and see when we can lock in a time to talk with them. I will put this over to if either Jane is on the call or
No, she's in another meeting, yeah.
Oh, okay. I know Jane is pretty much there with the contract, or it's going to be a license agreement for the parking.
At the church?
Yes.
Yeah, and we are waiting for, I think it's a little bit in their court right now. We've communicated with the church. We're waiting to hear back from them, was last I heard. But if all goes well, then we would, yeah, be doing that. So,
Okay.
Yep.
And then on the clerk, I think we're just waiting on the paperwork, right? I think that was already voted on.
Yes.
Yep.
I think we would like to include if it's resolved by the time we issue the documents, we would like to include this information about the parking in the specification to let the contractor know that this many spaces are available. Do you have any sense of when of the timeline?
Jenny, I think when we were talking with Jane on this before, I think originally she was trying to secure the spots for the parking for the contractor as well. And I think more recently, and Matt, if you have better information than I do, please let me know. But I think what we had said is we were going to secure directly the spots for the teachers. But if there was the option for those, maybe we would give that information to the contractor so that and let them reach out direct so that they could kind of deal with them direct. I'm not sure how that's played out, because I know there's been some back and forth, but sometimes the contractors can make a deal where, hey, I'll plow the lot in instead of paying you, rent for the spots, I'll, kind of barter, if you will. They can do different things like that rather than just straight up, a payment, if you will. And sometimes owners are more perceptive to that if they can let the contractor plow it and they plow it early because their people need to be in there early. It's a win-win for everybody. But to your point, if we have something that we can provide, it certainly would try to do it.
Yeah, as soon as I have a further update, I'll let you know on that.
So you're looking for that for 100% bid doc, for the 100% design,
Right.
Yeah.
which is in a month, basically.
Yeah, March 26th is our date that we're submitting those documents. So whatever information that we know, we should tell that to the contractor.
I don't think the church's information is gonna change significantly in a month.
Mhm.
Right, so they might, if we can maybe kind of push them into let's sign it, I mean,
Okay.
if something happens and they sell off a property.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
dead in the water anyways, and that whole agreement goes away.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt them, in my eyes, it doesn't hurt them to sign it now, because nothing's gonna change in the next month.
Okay, yeah, we'll push
But
back.
it will help us to have cleaner
To have, I
documents.
can
going out.
understand that, yep. Yep, we'll push back over.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, I don't think we need to have any votes on that. We move on to project cash flow. So right now we have an encumbrance of $7,244,376. I love to always skip this part and go right to the graph, because the graph is a better representation, for me at least, to show exactly where we are. We're basically riding right below what we projected in our forecast, and you can see as we get into June, August, October, that's when it will start to rise, because that'll be when we get our contractor invoices coming in. Nope, we're almost there.
One other quick one on that, Justin, because I think we maybe changed the way we did this just a little bit from last month or from previous is.
That's right.
As you saw this previously, I'm going back to the invoiced expenditures tab. In the past, if you go back to see last month's, for example, all these dates were blank. And by those dates being blank, these expenditures don't show up on the cash flow, if you will. So we were projecting that you were going to approve those all tonight. If you didn't, we would obviously change those dates and everything. But as you see the cash flow going forward here, you can see that we're actually into February here, because we were projecting that $500,000 was going to be approved tonight, basically. So just with these numbers, they're reasonably large, but when we start getting the contractors' bills, and they can be multi-million dollars, it could be $2, $3, $4, $5, even $6 million a month. If you're not showing that, then your cash flow looks like it's falling behind a little bit when it's really not. So our recommendation is that you allow us to continue to forecast this, but everything everything gray has previously been reviewed and approved. Everything that is white is new to you. But we're gonna just plug those dates in, so that way there it's catching the current invoices in the cash flow, if that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, as long as you keep it white, Mike, I think it's fine, you know.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, if you, for some reason, decided not to vote on one of these, we would just update our log tomorrow that it was not approved, basically.
Yeah, and that could be, and that could be part of the conversation, you know, that we would just confirm that on the back end.
Yep, absolutely.
If that ever came up.
Yeah. All right. So that's good. Like I said, as you see the cash flows, what we were realizing is always like a month behind, basically, and we want to give you the most up-to-date information. So that's
No,
good.
that's gonna be helpful. Thanks, Mike.
All right. So with that, we jumping to the schedule.
Yep, please.
Maybe we can talk about this offline, but when we get into the heart of this, into the construction, is there a streamlined way that all of these approvals are gonna be done? In terms of approving invoices and stuff, I mean, right? I mean, how much detail do we have for that?
As far as
How long is it gonna take us to go through all of, I mean, does a contractor just get one invoice and all this stuff?
Is it rolled up or is it itemized? Or-
Yeah.
as far as a requisition from the contractor, what they're billing for each month?
How, like our voting approval, how long is it gonna take us to go through all of these individual?
Well, I don't think we would have to pick through all the invoices, the contractor's requisition, because we would have already vetted for that. We're coming to the table with that already worked out, and any cost items that would be reviewed, I would imagine that would go to the cost review team prior to the meeting, right?
So it's gonna be a one invoice from the contractor
Yes,
for all the subs.
for all the subs, yes.
Yeah, Carla, if I can, this is a sample from another project we're doing right now. So if you looked at the backup is over 3,000 lines, for example, on this one. But ultimately, you would vote on that one number. That the current payment due is 3.5 million. So we go through it, the design team goes through it, we vet it out. Dave will be assisting us with that as well. As he's your clerk on the clerk on the site. But we literally review all 3,000 lines line by line to make sure that if they say it's 50% and we think it's 30%, we're going to get it adjusted down to 30%. That totals out to this one number, and that's really the number that you're coming forward. So when you look at your invoice log, if I go back to that previous file, it's really only adding like one more invoice. I think when we get to the FF&E, you may end up with 3, 4, 5 different vendors, and you might actually have a few more invoices at that point. But it's only a couple of months that you're gonna have that, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
Okay.
You saved us from a lot of turnover in the committee, Mike.
We do all the heavy lifting. You're always welcome to double check us, but we try to do it all for you.
Ed has his speakers on.
Exactly. I had laced them up. My cup was going back on.
All right, so for schedule review, right now we are at the 90% submission. We just voted to approve that, to submit that to the MSBA. We will be heading towards the 100% documents, which would be, that meeting would be approving to submit the 100% in March, the end of March, I believe March 30th, 2026. The electrical switchgear package that we just voted to approve, we're anticipating taking delivery. I think that would be next year. That's April of next year. But just if you see that highlighted green section, that's the early switchgear package, just to see when that would be coming to be part of the project. We have worked through the beginning stages of our RFQ, our request for contractor and subcontractor qualifications. The RFQ is live right now, and currently we've have some action on it, and we will be reviewing all those qualifications on the 27th. So those all contractor and subcontractor qualification items are due into bid docs on the 27th. From there, we'll review approved contractors, and then the the base bidding for the contract will be on March 31st. So that's when the process is going to start. So we'll be from the bidding will be on 5/29. That's when we're going to hire the contractor. So this, if you scroll down, yeah. So filed sub bids will be due on 5/6. So May 6th, 2026, and general contractor bids will be due on 5/19/2026.
Can I ask you a question on award?
Sure.
It looks like issue notice of award and then execute the contract is 5 days. Is that, or 7 days? Is that, that's line 201 and 202? Is that enough time? Are we,
Technically, what they typically, that's kind of Massachusetts statute. Once you issue it, they're supposed to execute the contract within 5 days.
so
So,
there's no negotiations or anything going on there, right?
no.
Shouldn't be. Okay.
The other thing, just so everybody is aware, we're working through that pre-call part right now. If I can just slide back up there for a second. I know, for example, I talked with Pat prior to the pre-qual going out, and I know Justin had a meeting with the pre-qual subcommittee prior to going out, but we did put some calls into some general contractors, more so than the filed sub-bidders, but the general contractors, and just giving them a heads up prior to this going out. Like, once the package is out on the street, we can't really have communications with them other than formal RFI questions and answers, things of that nature. But people that I know in the industry, we did try to put some calls out and just let people know that basically look in the central register next week. There's going to be an advertisement coming out and you might be interested in it, basically. So trying to make sure that people aren't just relying on them finding it, but kind of being a little more proactive and getting the word out for our project.
Great. I heard Killam was it.
Absolutely. All right. So, and then to just close the loop on that bidding, like Justin was mentioning, we're bidding it in May, and then basically getting award in May, executing the contract end of May, beginning of June. Once we get the contractor on board, we'll start talking to them about timing of when they're going to mobilize and things like that. I know Lindsay was questioning or concerned, are they mobilizing before the kids get out or after the kids get out? And I think with the timing there, realistically, by the time they get subcontractors on board, get the fencing and everything like that, it's not a big ask to have them wait till the kids get out of school to mobilize. We're not going to make that a requirement of the bid, but I think it's probably reasonable to expect that, basically. It's going to take them a little bit of time to order the trailers and get the trailers delivered and kind of get going out there.
Any questions on schedule?
FinCom is asking for an update at their 25th, February 25th meeting.
Yeah, because I wasn't in our last meeting, so I didn't give a liaison report. That's probably why.
Oh, good, so you can take care of it.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it.
So, but they want it for specifically for bidding.
Yeah,
You got it. Awesome.
I can update it. My question is, and we probably will talk about this, like, how often do we need to, as a committee, need to meet? Like throughout that process, or are we just by appointment, kind of like we're not any higher touch during this time frame, or are we? I'm just curious.
I don't think there's really a higher touch. I think once we get the pre-quals in, there's going to be a couple meetings of that pre-qual subcommittee. We're going to try and work through most of the details there. That committee is then going to come back to you folks and make a recommendation, and you're going to vote. So I think as we get into there and as we get closer, we may have to tweak these dates a little bit rather than always being, is it the first of the month or the first or second Tuesday of the month, the second Monday of the month. We might have to tweak that a little bit just so that it's like 2 days after the bids come in or something like that. But other than that, I think I don't think there's a lot of extra meetings or anything like that needed.
To that point, Mike, the one of the dates we were talking about earlier with LBA is the when we issue the bid documents to bid docs, our bidding platform. I think they're going to be ready the week before.
March 26th.
Right, so that, and then we want to have them approved to be, so we're gonna need the committee to approve that submission on
The 30th.
3/30, yeah.
Yeah, and at the moment, I don't know what's going on with our Killam School Building Committee meetings. I can't find a calendar invite for our March meeting. So, we would want to meet on March 30th, and then there's a question, do we meet between now and then, or is that our next meeting?
Hey Ginny, real quick, I've booked I don't know why, I can send the invite tomorrow morning, but I've booked the room for the 16th and the 30th for a meeting.
Okay.
So we can meet both if we need to.
So I think that might not, so maybe I'll take it back and say maybe we do want to have 2 meetings that month. Only because I think if the documents are kind of going live on the 31st, we should at least get an update on the prequels by the 16th. So if those prequels are coming in the end of the month by the 16th, we want to be able to give you a preliminary update. If not, I mean, if we can get it resolved by then, we'll get it resolved by then. But I don't know that we'd want to wait to the last minute on the prequels in case there's any questions.
And then we can get our ordinary business done. 16th.
The quicker 30th meetings.
Yeah, so maybe the 30th is just a quick
There we go, Mike, that's what I was saying.
telecom meeting, yeah. And then similarly with the bidding, we're gonna be getting the bids in the GC bids on the 19th. So we probably want the meeting to happen the following week after that in May, if you will. Just looking ahead a little bit, so that meeting might be off the regular schedule. It might be a little bit later.
Yeah, it looks like review results of GC bids with SBC on, week of 5/22. Which was my son's birthday.
Mine's a week before, so make sure.
Okay.
And then do we have to do something before or after the 29th, or
No, once the contract's executed, then, what we'll probably do is that the following month, we'll invite the contractor to come and kind of say hi to you. We don't typically require the contractor to come to the SBC meetings. We always offer that they can come, but they don't have to. But we usually ask them to come once and at least say hi and kind of get introduced. And then, from there on, you're probably going to get that once a month invoice from them. Couple months in, we're going to probably start doing change order reviews, and we'll have that discussion with you folks. Like, again, it's going to be our team along with Dave and the design team kind of reviewing those change orders initially. And if we need to set up some sort of formal review with the financial committee at that point, I know Justin and I do that kind of with a smaller group in Whitman, for example, with a smaller group prior to meeting with the building committee, so that smaller group can answer questions, ask questions, and can kind of help support it. And so we're not reviewing individual PCOs in this meeting. We're looking at it at a little bit of a higher level in the overview.
So if you had to make modifications to our May schedule, right now we're scheduled for May 11th.
Yeah, so I think right now, what we're saying is that the bids, again, we've got to kind of see what happens. Like, we're hoping that if we have any questions or anything like that, the addendums come out and doesn't delay timing or anything like that. But assuming that sorry, I'm highlighting the wrong one. The bids are due on Tuesday, the 19th. We could try and do something towards the end of the week that week, or we can wait to the following week and do our typical Monday evening, and it would be the 25th.
it'll be the 26th because is it Memorial Day, the 25th?
All right, there you go. Maybe that's why we were thinking the end of the week rather than waiting through the holiday. But again, that's at your discretion. One other thing to keep in mind is when we do get the bidders, Justin, we're doing a site walk. Are we doing one for the prequel, or are we just waiting and doing it during the bidding?
I think it's just for the bidding.
Just the bidding, okay, that makes sense. So We are gonna have a site walk. We'll talk with Lindsay to kind of coordinate a date on that and everything. It's gonna be in the specifications, though. We typically invite the contractors to come out and see it. On a new construction project such as this, typically you're gonna see the general contractors and the demo contractors, because the demo guys can look at the old building. They actually have something to see. You're not gonna see a lot of HVAC contractors coming out to see, where the building is going to go in the future, that type of thing. We might have some site work guys or some drilling for the geothermal wells, things like that. But it is a good thing to kind of get interest in the project, get people out there and start asking questions and things of that nature. So we do, even on a new construction, we thought about not having it, but after kind of talking internally, we thought it's probably worthwhile to do that. So we do need to confirm that date for the specs. And everybody's
Students,
welcome. Yeah.
students are out of school Fridays by 1. Sean, by 1, right?
Yeah, it's 12:45.
Yeah.
So assume a little bit of time for pickup and everything. So probably 1:15 is safe.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 o'clock on a Friday or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're good with schedule, right?
Super, thank you. Okay, how about a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes from the January 20th.
So move to approve the meeting minutes from January 20th, 2026.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Discussion? Okay, Sean,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And Carla, yes, thank you. Future agenda, so we have KSB, the XLT meeting on March 9th, and we have KSBC meeting on March 16th. I will not be here, so I'm gonna talk to Pat to see if we will be there. That's it.
Just so, with the 90% submission, the meeting minutes for today that approve that 90% submission, these meeting minutes will be certified. I think I talked to Josh about this. These meeting minutes certified and provided with that package, once they're certified and once we get the comments back from the SBA.
Sure. Yep. Perfect.
And then we have the 30th, and so we're gonna do the March 30th as well. Right, another meeting date, right?
Yep.
Is that
Yeah.
cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning, I'll send all the meeting invitations for March and April. I'll just do that.
Thanks, Josh.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Sean,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Kirk,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And Carla. Thanks, everyone. We're adjourned.
How long was the last one?
I was gonna say 8:04.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Well done.